Dark Zone gear score. So there's a bit of confusion around all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we've talked about it a bit, but it's still very confusing. It is working, but the thing is, you don't see your theoretical gear score.
Yeah, there are two type of gear scores basically in the game. There is like the they don't really have a name, so there is the actual gear score that you see on your character when you open your inventory, and this one is based on the items that you have equipped.
Yes.
And then there is a theoretical gear score that is calculated based on the best items you can use from equipment, inventory, and stash. And that one, in the patch notes, we said that it was the gear score was only going to take into account the highest equipped weapon. It's actually not equipped. We're fixing the patch notes.
Should be possible.
It's for the theoretical gear score, not the actual gear score that is shown. For the theoretical one, it's going to take the best of each item slot that you have, either again equipped, inventory, or stash, but only the one best weapon, not one best weapon for each slot, just the one best weapon into account. Which means that you can't just you can lower your actual gear score by using crap items, but not the theoretical one. The theoretical one is always going to take the best items you could use, even if you're not actually using them.
And there are obviously reasons behind why we do that. We had issues with people jumping into lower Dark Zone brackets with gear that they probably shouldn't be, and kind of terrorizing people a little bit. So that shouldn't be something that
so no, it's just working as intended. It's just that the feedback is not really clear, I think. So that's probably something we should improve.
I think we should improve that. If there's a way that people can maybe see their theoretical gear score, I think that would be really helpful.
But that's feedback that we kind of gear score. I don't know. But I know that this is something the team is fully aware of, and we need to improve the way players see their gear score so they understand better what is the actual gear score, and why when your shown gear score is 175, why are you actually matched in the 201 bracket, Dark Zone bracket, because it's not very transparent for the player.
No.
But it's working as intended.
Exactly. A couple of other things before we get to some more of the issues. The incursion difficulty for Clear Sky. Yes, on hard mode it is, for people who are geared, like Gabe, very easy. It's easy. You can do it quickly. But that I was speaking to some people about it earlier. That's not the regular gamer. Well, not the average player in the division that has that kind of gear. But it is something that you can dictate the pace of and get through very quickly. That is true if you have good gear, but not probably so much on challenge mode, which comes out next week.
And I think the thing that's important to keep in mind is that this incursion is meant to be the same difficulty level as Falcon Lost, and I think some people thought, because in the past on the map it was shown as 220 gear score requirement, when it actually wasn't. So people thought it would be harder, and then when they actually, when we released the update, they went in there and they were like, actually, that's very easy. But it's just as easy as Falcon Lost would be in hard mode for you. It's just actually quicker because you don't have all the waves. Since the mechanics are different, it's quicker to do. But the difficulty is pretty much the same as Falcon Lost. Exactly. Therefore, the challenge mode should be more challenging.
Although there will be a variation in how long challenge mode takes some people. Obviously, Falcon Lost has a different kind of pacing. So you have a less range of times that people can complete it in. But I imagine that Clear Sky is going to be, some people will complete challenge mode in 20 minutes. I don't know. I don't know how.
I mean, the people that are farming Falcon Lost challenge mode, I expect that they will still be able to beat Clear Sky challenge mode, because it's not meant to be really harder. It's just it's probably going to be a different experience from hard mode, so it might take a few tries to actually beat it, but there's no doubt that people will beat it quite fast.
I think when I ran it the other day, we didn't have to employ strategy, because we were past kind of having to deal with strategy because of the gear we had on. But I don't think that's going to be the case with challenge mode. So I know that's not the case with challenge mode. I'm actually going to have to be a bit of a strategic team player.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously the guys that are like geared 220, 230 or something, it's still going to be not much of a challenge to them, I think. Maybe the first time because they might be caught by surprise, but eventually once they know how it works in challenge, I mean, once you're used to the challenge mode aspect, I don't think it's going to be so hard for them. But this is all intended. This is how we wanted it. We wanted it to be just an alternative to Falcon Lost, same difficulty level. So when you reach this type of gear score, you have the choice between these two type of incursion. It was not meant to be harder anyway.
But it'll be like a very different starting point because people have been farming Falcon Lost, like you said, for a month.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Isaac changes today.
Yes, so we talked about it last time. Isaac is now, again, I'm trying to think of a way to say it that's not confusing, but it's now its own weekly assignment. It's not the weekly assignment that you had before, so you still have these weekly assignments. But Isaac is also a separated one now, so with its own reward, which is Vanity Item and Division Tech.
Yeah, high-end Division Tech. Nice.
Yeah, and it starts today because it resets on Thursdays.
Yes, and there's a new video, I guess.
And there's a new episode that is out already, yes.
Nice. Well, that's that. So, I mean, I think it's a beanie today.
Could be.
I think
I don't know.
I saw in the menu that
could be. Yeah.
That's what it was. I hope so.
Part of the issues that we are working on right now, so the WI, obviously. WI is a very big one because, it's very annoying. You guys have been talking about it a lot. It's one of our top priorities. We have a fix. It's a client fix, but we will be able to deploy it as soon as possible, actually. For this one, we are managing to make an exception. The ETA is probably end of the week. We're going to deploy it separately on all platforms, depending on the approvals that are coming in. So PC and PS4 should come in before the end of the week, and Xbox One probably early next week.
But as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's as soon as possible. Basically, as soon as we get the approval.
We don't need to have downtime for that?
No.
Okay, so people just log in or relog, and
there shouldn't be any maintenance for this fix. It's just a client thing, so we're going to deploy it, and that means next time you start the game, you probably will have a small patch that is going to fix it.
But keep your eyes and ears peeled for more news on that. We'll announce dates for those things, I guess, on Twitter, and we'll talk about it on the stream if we're live, and make sure that you guys know as soon as that is fixed, because I've experienced it last night as well. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And it's going to be confirmed on the non-issue list as well as soon as we have a date. The other one, graphics distortion. We've added this one to the list, so we're looking into this one. We don't have an ETA yet.
Okay, is that platform specific, or is it?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have it on top of my mind. I can't remember. But this is something that is being looked into because it's been reported by a few people. It might be linked to the WI, but we're not sure.
Okay.
The mark as junk. So some players that are not able to mark their items as junk also being investigated. So no ETA on this one, but it's also one of the top priorities because it's annoying.
Yes.
That one generated some discussion. Items, dark zone, rank requirement thing. So there were some items that changed rank requirement at the dark zone vendors from 50 to 80.
Yeah.
This is not an ninja nerf. This is actually a bug. So this is something that's going to be fixed. We just I think this one we have the fix. It's going to take a server maintenance, but it's going to be.
But not the server maintenance.
Not this one.
The next one.
But probably the next one.
Okay.
But this is not an intended change. So don't blame us for ninja nerf on this one.
Cool.
One is known. So So what's happening with one is known is that we actually did fix the initial bug with it, which was when you were ending up with one bullet and one is known would trigger, you would end up with your weapon jammed. That part is fixed, but now what is happening is that if you reload your weapon exactly at the moment where one is known is triggering, exactly at this moment, you're going to jam your weapon. So it's not as frequent as it was before, but it still can happen. If you're using an assault or an automatic weapon basically, and you just keep spamming the reload button, eventually you're going to jam your weapon. So we're looking into that. We're trying to fix it as well.
You probably aren't using an automatic weapon if you've got one as none running, I would think. But it's
it works. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a good talent. So
it is a super good talent. I use it on my marksman rifle as well.
Yeah, we're looking at that. The Dark Zone 06 teleport thing. So there is an underground area in the Dark Zone 06 where you get teleported to your checkpoint. We have a fix for this one. It's a server fix, so I don't know if it's going to be next server maintenance or maybe the one after, but we have a fix that is coming. And there is a similar issue with an electronics store.
Yeah, I was in there just before. I was just going to say if that's the same issue or not.
It's so it's caused by different things, but it's probably similar. The fix we have is for the Dark Zone 06, but we're going to look into the other ones and see if we can use the same fix or if it's something else. Cool. But this is in progress. And then the last ones I have, critical search and destroy. So it can happen that when you're doing your search and destroy mission, you always have one zone that is highlighted as a critical one. And sometimes when you keep doing critical search and destroy, eventually your map will no longer show a critical search and destroy.
Which isn't intended, because there's meant to always be one.
There should be. Yeah. So yeah, it's being looked into. We don't really know yet if it's just a display issue or if it's actually that you really don't have critical search and destroy anymore.
Because I think yesterday I did a couple, 2 or 3 before I had the issue. But this morning I didn't have it, so
yeah, that depends. I experienced it myself when I was playing. The first time I played, after 2 or 3, I had it, and then yesterday I did a bunch of them. I didn't experience the issue, so it's really seems kind of random. But yeah, it's being looked into. The last one I had that we've seen a lot today, the daily high-value targets. So there seems to be an issue where basically we have a bunch of daily high-value targets. So every day. Some of them are going to be selected as the dailies that are available, but if it's selecting some that were actually completed the day before, these will still show as completed for you, so you will not be able to do them again. So they basically don't reset. Only the new ones that have been selected will be available, but the ones from the day before will not be, also being looked into.
Great. All right. All right.
That was
you out of breath?
That was exhausting.
Did you breathe?